Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. This is Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest breaking exclusive news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday at 5 o'clock on Castbox and YouTube. I'm your host, James J. With me today, back from his Valentine's excursion, Coleco Yachts.
What's up, people? I would have came last week, but my wife was like, "Bro, if you come on this day, so happy wife, happy life. Keep that in mind."
Right.
The lesson of the decade: happy wife, happy life. But as long as she makes you happy, it's worth it. So there you go. There's my spiel.
We'll be joined later by Scooter Dust, possibly Mitch Mayhem. We'll see. But until then, it's a great day for wrestling. Maybe not.
Been a great kickoff.
Maybe not a great day for Matt Hardy, as he's in a rivalry with Randy Orton, but it's kind of stop and start at this point.
I mean, to me, Matt Hardy is just the it gives a reason for Edge to come and fight Randy, other than the fact that he attacked him. Like, it's like, bro, that's like my best friend. Even though Matt Hardy and Edge had their little issues about 12, damn near 12, 15 years ago. So yeah, I get why they're doing it.
They're both married, they both have kids, they've moved on since then.
They moved on, so they're cool with it. So it's just something where it's like, okay, I'm going to use this to get to you. And it's just setting Edge up for the match that we all expect at WrestleMania. So can't get mad at that.
Another thing in the news this week, AEW unveiled a new action figure line. What does this mean for AEW?
It tells me business 101 is coming into play, because most people always think of competition as just TV. But to me, I always try to tell these wrestling fans, it's not about what's happening in the ring as a product. To me, I always look at the moves that they try to make as a company, as an organization. I guess that's just me because I'm a business major at State, so it kind of like pops out when I see shit like that. So it's going to be interesting how they're going to sell the action figures, but their demographic is more adult oriented. So it's kind of a odd. Not saying it's odd that it's an action figure. It's just odd that they would try to push a market for that, because I'm like, okay, if you see their audience, their core audience is mostly male men, roughly between 18 to 49 or 18 to 35, give or take. So to me, they'll probably buy it to get it signed, but it's not like how WWE is pimping them shits out like Kmart. You know what I mean? To the kids. So
it'd be interesting where they actually land in the department stores, if they actually get into
that. That's another thing I was thinking of. I was thinking of distribution. Where are these toys going to, what store are these toys going to get distributed at? Are they going to be out? Because technically, if Kmart still exists, if I remember right, remember that WWE used to have an exclusive deal with Kmart. I know they're at Target. They're at like most toy stores. So it's going to be interesting to see where they pop up.
Right. Just on that note, what did you actually think of? Did you actually see the action figures?
Oh yeah, to me, they look really good. They look hella good.
Yeah, they
like they don't look too bad.
I mean, they look like they could wrestle with the WWE action figures, no problem, right?
Oh yeah, easy. That's not the issue. Is not the fact of the figurine itself. It's the issue with me is like the demographic is not there to buy it unless you got a bunch of grown people trying to buy action figures.
Are you an action figure, a wrestling action figure guy?
And when I was younger, fuck yes. But as I got older, I'd probably knowing me, I would buy it more for so for my son to play with than for me to go get it autographed. Because to me, I kind of expanded my wrestling collection into championship titles, and you know how those things go. So the last thing I'm trying to do is like have a bunch of things. My wife is already pissed. I got a bunch of chairs in my house. Last thing I need is fucking figurines. You know what I mean?
I
So for me personally, it's a non-starter unless my son wants to play
Was you the
with it.
original action figures? What brand was this? Before Jack Specific.
Oh, it was the original joints, and it wasn't just like WWE. I had like WCW. I had the Sting joint with the Ric Flair. You remember the still figures that were like hard ass plastic and they were
Oh
just
yeah,
stuck in one position? I had them hoes.
I have a couple of those actually. I still do.
Okay. But yeah, yeah, those were the hoes I was playing. I used to fuck with them bitches tough. So that was always my thing
It
when it came
was
to the figures. But
it was rumored that WWE might be heading back to the UK for a major paid preview, whether it be WrestleMania or SummerSlam. What are
uh, I think it would be SummerSlam personally because WrestleMania they get the one thing that they try to do with WrestleMania is lower the cost as much as possible, and I don't see it would be more cost incurring to have a WrestleMania overseas when they could go to San Francisco and because remember when we went to Santa Clara, Santa Clara let them run the building pro bono. You see what I'm saying?
did
So
they?
it they let them run. Yeah, they did not charge them to use use Santa Clara Stadium. So that's why I don't see WrestleMania being in overseas. I see us like a big four other one of the other big three pay-per-views. Just because of the simple fact that like it's easier to build the stage over there. Unlike WrestleMania, the logistics would be fucking a nightmare, in my opinion. And
They
plus, like they get all these cities to bid for it. So it's like fucking. Why wouldn't they?
right. Obviously, WrestleMania, SummerSlam '92 was in Wembley Arena, so they said that that would be 2022 would be the year that they would pull the trigger on another UK pay preview. You think?
And that makes sense because if you notice, they kept SummerSlam on the East Coast for the most. Like since they left LA, it's been Brooklyn, like for 3 4 years straight, and then you get Boston and was it Toronto this year too or this past year? So it's easier to sell it. Okay, we're going to go across the pond because schedule wise, they could do that. As far as WrestleMania, they have those things bidded way ahead of time. Like just like the news came out that it's coming to LA next year, so
Right.
that tells you, you know what I mean? Like the work to put in to get it going for next year. It starts to me honestly the moment they get ready for this year. I mean, technically, I would say it's a year long process. So, and they get all these cities to bid. So to me, the cities bidding are giving them good tax incentives to stay.
And we are being joined
So
by Scooter Dust.
Wubba-lubba-dub-dub.
We were talking.
Oh, what's up, Scooter?
What's up, Galico?
How was your Valentine's Day? Did the wifey be happy? Unlike
Uh,
like my wife.
well, yeah, well, I sent her 10 pounds of candy and an infinity necklace.
Oh, you better than me, man. I took my wife to this dumpling spot in New York, or not New York, Jesus,
New
in San
York.
Diego. I was about to say, yeah, I'm fucking up. But I took her to this dumpling spot, and it reminds us of New York because we went to a dumpling spot in Brooklyn, and that shit was so fire, and I've just been stuck ever since. Okay, buddy.
So, Scooter, we're talking about the possibility of the UK getting one of the big four paid previews, possibly in
Yeah.
2022.
It'll never happen.
And why
Never.
do you say
Really?
that?
It will never happen anymore. The the time difference for it to air live
Okay.
in America means they would have to go on at midnight in the UK.
Oh, good point. That's another thing too. And if you remember, that SummerSlam was hella long when they had it in Wembley. It was about 8-9 hours long.
It was taped 2 days before.
Okay.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
that
was.
SummerSlam was
Yes.
live.
Yeah, it was taped.
I did not know that.
That
But
SummerSlam it was taped 2 days before my birthday and aired on my birthday.
oh well, that's cool.
Huh?
Um, but kind of doesn't the WWE network eliminate that issue? Because I mean, we have a pay preview coming up on Thursday. That's gonna take place at 9 a.m. my time.
Yeah, but it's taking place at 7 p.m. their time, which means as long as it can air before, as long as it can air at a reasonable time, what at whatever time zone they're in, then it'll air. Like it'll be 7 p.m. there when
Right.
when it goes on the air. I think what we have to be more concerned with is losing pay-per-views to ESPN Plus.
See, to me, that I thought about that, and I was sitting there like talking about it, and to me, I would think that that would just be a North America thing only, right? Because ESPN Plus, they only run because like if they want a deal similar to like the UFC. The one
Yeah,
thing the UFC has is that their network is an international audience, so they're basically running the US. They're running their pay per views after the fact because there's no way that I think that the ESPN deal would affect only the North American market, which is America pretty much, because it's not really going to affect Canada per se or the UK or anything else. It's just going to be more of
yeah.
a
I mean, plus UFC's content is different every time. That's why you can justify paying $65 for a pay-per-view with them because it's different every time. Honestly, what I think they should do is they should do something more akin to the WWE network and expand Fight Pass and dedicate more like individual shows to each of their weight divisions.
that makes sense, but I think yeah, I would say the only reason that they would have had that deal with ESPN is if the UFC or ESPN rather would put in a hell of a lot of money. And to me, I think it's a business risk to do that because think about it. That network's been out for what, 6 years, give or take? Hell, the anniversary is coming up soon. So you ingrain these people with the 9.99 every month, 9.99, 9.99, 9.99, 9.99, and I think that's going to cause a hell of a churn for people because they're already paying $10 a month for the subscription. Why the hell would I take my $10 Why would I add another $4 and then have to pay for a pay per view? Now, if they do it as in now, if ESPN does something like to where it charges the pay per views are included in the monthly subscription of $4.99, I think that would be a great selling point. Because of the simple fact that ESPN is just trying to big up their subscription numbers. You see what I'm saying? To offset that cost that they just gave the UFC. Because the UFC is only really running, I'd say, the bigger pay per views like the UFC 230s and 240s once a month. And they'll probably run like one UFC fight night, which is basically like what they throw on ESPN and Fox or whatever the case may be. So I'm curious to see how it would play. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If they include it, because if they include it, to me that's a fucking steal. Because you're basically cutting the price in half. Now, what WWE could do to offset that is go because they're gonna have because even though they're given the rights to stream it, they still own the rights. So they could do something where it's like, okay, since you don't want to watch it live on ESPN, we could have a replay on our network to try to retain some of those people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or or a simulcast type situation. So it, I think it would work better if it's a simulcast situation where the pay per view is airing on WWE Network and ESPN, so you could expand the audience rather than trying to make the consumer choose.
That's an interesting idea of essentially almost combining, or rather giving ESPN Plus is customers access to the WWE network and working out some sort of like renting the WWE content library
Right.
almost. What I also thought was maybe what they do is they do the they do not the big four, but only the big two on ESPN Plus. You do WrestleMania and you do SummerSlam
That
on
We'll
that
definitely
might work.
we'll
because
definitely cover that
people
when
will
it comes
pay
to.
for WrestleMania. People will pay for WrestleMania.
I think you're
Yeah, people
absolutely
will pay
right
for
about that.
WrestleMania. Oh, there's people still paying for WrestleMania, so I get your point. Um, but to me, yeah, I would say do a WrestleMania with a SummerSlam. Uh, do a simulcast stream because to keep in mind, like the ESPN didn't start really covering wrestling and like literally writing articles and storylines or doing articles for it up until what, like 3 years ago. So it kind of gets them in the bed to be exclusive to WWE and to keep from writing about because as much as they write about WWE, they were also writing about Ring of Honor. They were writing about New Japan a little bit. They were doing a little AEW. So they were kind of all over the place with their journalism. So they're trying to probably set that deal up to keep the journalism just WWE centric in a sense. So I mean that could be something that was a factor.
One thing they should be covering, or maybe not covering, is the NWA Circle Squared debuted this Tuesday, well, last Tuesday on YouTube. Did you guys catch it?
I caught it. It was a little different because I was so used to Power and and they were just getting good with the whole Ricky Morton and yeah, but hey, it's a little break, and that's kind of like their tough enough in a sense to me. That's what it seemed like to me.
I agree with
Except
you.
that they're actually taking wrestlers and letting them wrestle and
I agree with you there, but what they did with like the other podcasters and YouTubers, I freaking hated it.
What was it? Was PewDiePie on NWA?
I'm close to it. It's just like it was exactly like that, where you some type of game podcast or comments on the wrestlers and the match that they had in their promos. I mean, if you're
Son of a bitch! They're stealing my fucking ideas.
I mean, if you're into that kind of if you're into that kind of stuff, it's great. But for your casual viewer, it was a bit of a miss for me.
I mean, they're expanding the audience. They're trying to, because they already know the YouTube generation. They're just trying to get like a younger audience, and I wouldn't blame them for it. I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean, they're thinking outside the box, and to me, they're out of all the wrestling, their shit is like the easiest watch. So why not?
Oh, we'll talk a little bit later about WWE Super Showdown. A brief recap of the Wednesday Night Wars. But right now we are wrestling with NXT Takeover Portland. Me and Scooter actually covered this on the remix. It was I thought it was a good show, but Coleco, what were your thoughts on the show as a whole?
To be honest, there's never been a bad takeover. Like, even like the ones that are like, man, you still like certain matches and what they did. And to me, like, as much as everyone wants to harp AEW, there's no way that their pay-per-view is touching takeovers, because they give them ample time to tell the story, to explain what's going on. And to me, the takeovers are probably one of the best things about WWE, because it's just straight up wrestling, it's straight up stories. It's always a surprise, just straight to the wrestling, and it just shows you like the consistency that NXT has. Because think of one NXT where you came out going, "Oh my god, this fucking sucked."
That's true. What about you, Scooter? What were your thoughts on the show?
I thought it was a great show from top to bottom. Absolutely. It was fun. It was just an overall great show.
I agree with you there.
Totally agree.
Yeah. And that being said, which was your favorite match on this card?
Pete Dunne and the Matt Riddle against the Bruiseweights.
Would that have anything to do with?
Oh yeah, that was a really good
with
match.
the multiple blunt jokes and joint jokes, and how many fish can Bobby Fish fish if Bobby Fish could fry fish?
Could fry fish. Yep.
What about you, Coleco?
You know what? I just saw something on the internet where it said, before I say that, I saw something on the internet where it was like Matt Riddle's like, how many McGriddles can Matt Riddle griddle if Riddle could griddle McGriddles? It's like, it's taking over. Like, no matter what, meme worthy. But to me, I love that tag. The tag match was really good. To me, the match of the evening was the Balor Gargano match, because I swear that it felt like a double turn. It totally felt like a double turn. Like, I don't know what Finn does. He has like Finn to me is kind of like a male Becky Lynch, not in the way of like the wrestling styles, but in the way that they have a fucking cult following that is just gonna ride with them till the fucking wheels fall off. And Gargano walked into that bitch as a face, and he left that fucking match as a heel. And that tells you, like, the loyalty that they have to Finn Balor, like people like Finn Balor and Becky Lynch. Like they see these people are people getting fucked over, and they are like, no, we gonna push these motherfuckers to because they are our people.
But doesn't
And
that
I
have
just
to
find it
part
funny
to
that like they have that type of dynamic.
doesn't that have to do in part of Finn Balor being Bullet, the originator of Bullet Club, somewhat?
Uh, Not really, because if that was the case, Gallows and Anderson would be a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just
Yeah,
those two people. Like Balor and Lynch is like
that is a
it's
great
just
point.
like they are not taking no shit from nobody about either one of those people.
One thing we all talked
So
about
that I mean,
in the past was Dakota Kai needing to beat Tegan Knox in the street fight. She did, but do we think that this was the victory that solidified her heel run so far? Scooter?
Probably not, just due to the fact that we had what's her name, Raquel Gonzalez interfering.
You think that took the shine off of the Dakota win?
Yeah.
Do you agree, Coleco?
really, I I kind of disagree, and the only reason I disagree is because they should have had fucking Tegan Knox on the chase the whole way around. Like Tegan Knox should have lost the match that they had like 2 weeks prior. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it should have been a kind of because to me it would have been more impactful to see Tegan go. Me, I couldn't. Tegan. You see what I'm saying? So that's to me where the disconnect was. Because if they had Dakota win by cheating, then had Raquel come out and do it, and then if Dakota and if Tegan wins the steel cage match, that makes sense because she finally got the hump, got over the hump. But
Right.
by her beating her in the shot, to me, all the luster out of it.
Because it's the cage match is essentially a rubber match at this point.
Right. Like, yeah, there's nothing in me that's invested in going, oh my God, I can't wait to see Tegan Knox beat her because I already seen her beat her and had fucking Candice LeRae come in and help. So you see what I'm saying?
That's an
Like
excellent
it almost like kind of like they did it backwards.
No, stop that! You're absolutely right about that. Major news coming out of this show was that Rhea Ripley's going to WrestleMania. She's wrestling Charlotte Flair for the NXT Women's Championship. My thoughts about it is Rhea's getting a push at Mania. Where does that leave Adam Cole?
Honestly, they need to push that women's division. The women's division is what they're trying to put on the forefront because the men's division, it's sad. It's got a who's who of people that people may know, but the women's division, I mean, to be quite honest, in NXT, it's Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and a bunch of green women. So it makes sense for Rhea to push it, and it makes the NXT Women's title more important. So when someone who is in NXT ready to get the belt, it actually has a lot more significance to me.
What about you, Scooter? What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, we called I called the fact that Rhea Ripley was
who's going to wrestle Charlotte Flair.
yeah, and I mean.
And
I mean, yeah,
speechless.
like I'm accustomed to the long pauses.
I mean, I was surprised to see Charlotte, actually show up at Takeover. But I mean, other than that, I'm not happy with the fact that Bianca seems to be getting involved in this, and if it ends up being a triple threat match, I think it's just going to take away from that fact. Because I mean, okay, let Bianca and Charlotte have it out at Takeover, but do not put Bianca on Mania.
I think that's a smart
I don't
decision.
see Bianca. I just see Bianca as the roadblock. Like, I see Bianca as like that person's like, not my motherfucking house, you gonna disrespect me. To me, it's all about the respect to her at this point. Like, I don't see her being in the title picture per se, because if she was gonna have the belt, hell, she had like at least 2 to 3 chances to win the bitch already. So she would have been won it. I just think that she's just like something to get eyeballs onto the NXT product. And this tells a lot about Charlotte, that like Becky kind of surpassed her, because it's kind of crazy to think that. Plus, people are probably already tired of Charlotte
Becky
and that Raw SmackDown women's.
The SmackDown's women's champion, and she's up there. I mean, if it was
but her turning heel, I think, like, prime example, last week when she fought Carmella, I think that was the first time that she was actually comfortable being a heel, where she's not talking shit about the city or telling people that they suck. Does that make sense? Like, it felt awkward for a minute. You know what I mean? It felt hella awkward, her being heel. But now she's trying to get into the rhythm of it. And to me, Bayley's gonna end up with, if my money's on it, it's gonna be Naomi. Because everything is, in my spidey senses, is pointing to Naomi. But
I mean, if she's done being a Swiffer.
Hey man, that afro's nice. I wish I had a fro like that. But yeah, it just shows you that, like, they're trying to build that women's roster to where they got a group of women that can take over at any time, just like the men. Because the men are set. Like Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Finn Balor, Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, Velveteen Dream. It's like there's a stepping order there, but there's a precipitous drop off in the women's division for NXT between Rhea, Bianca, and it just, especially with Shayna Baszler pushing up the Raw, so it really left a hole there. But to me, Belair's just a stepping stone. They'll probably have a match before Mania. Charlotte goes over to look strong, and then it goes straight from there.
Right.
Personally, that's what I think.
And the last little bit of news, Johnny Gargano turned heel on Tommaso Ciampa in the main event. I mean, nobody really didn't see it coming. I mean, how many times did Ciampa screw Gargano?
True, but to me, I just saw, like, I think that Balor match what kind of pushed it that way, because I mean, yeah, they may have planned it, but the fact that they were booing Gargano, who's basically been like if there's a Mount Rushmore NXT, he's definitely on that bitch. And for them to fucking boo him over Finn Balor, who's been basically healing it up the whole time, that tells you like it tells you where they want what the crowd was feeling about him. It tells you how the crowd felt about Balor. So it just happened to lightning struck twice. What do you think, Scoop?
I mean, you also have to remember that Ciampa, when Ciampa, like screwed Gargano, it wasn't in the NXT title picture. They had matches for the NXT title that Ciampa ended up winning, but and again, it was Gargano that helped Ciampa win the title in the first place. So you got to think
Yep,
maybe
with the Aleister Black.
Maybe Gargano is trying to make up for that mistake, but it also honestly, I don't think there was any reason for Gargano to do it storyline wise. We saw Ciampa come out when Gargano won it and celebrate with him.
Yeah, that's the only thing that threw me off. But to me, I feel like Gargano's in that place where he doesn't want to move up to the main roster. He's in a position he doesn't want to move up to the main roster. He basically done it all in NXT. So what else is there for him to do except for feud around and get in other people's ways?
I mean,
so that's the position that Gargano's in.
Him just existing to just fuck shit up, basically, because he can.
This is the reason why they're doing.
I mean,
the reason that they're doing Gargano and Ciampa once more. Where was we 1 year ago this time? Johnny Gargano versus Ciampa for the NXT Championship. The one last time match that never happened because Ciampa got injured. They swerved it to Adam Cole, and essentially Adam Cole took Ciampa's place in that match. Now, 1 year later, you could just tell that they're swerving back in the direction that they were going in and telling that story over again from 1 year prior. That's what I think anyway.
So you're saying the pendulum is swinging back to where. So basically, it's a reset to back where they were in the first place.
Yes,
but we've had so many Ciampa Gargano matches that it's really hard to imagine what's left for them to do.
Pretty much.
Unless the only two things I can think of is a loser leaves NXT match or an Iron Man match.
I think it would. That's a good idea. I think it would be a loser leaves NXT match because I cannot see like when Gargano became like the first Triple Crown champion. That's when it was like, bro, you gotta go. Like it's time to go because you did it all. Like literally, you checked all the boxes. There's nothing else for him to prove. So you might be onto something, Scooter, with the loser leaves NXT because even when Ciampa was on NXT this past week, he said I have to get rid of Gargano. So that's hinting it that it could be that loser leaves NXT, even though Gargano's like, I'm not leaving NXT.
They could pull a John Cena and it's leave WWE for 1 week and then come back next week. I mean, they're
with his tickets.
Yeah, WWE's usually good at getting around shit like that. That being said, we will cover all of that when it happens. But that will conclude our coverage of NXT Portland. And we will now be wrestling with the Wednesday Night Wars. this week, whatever that week may be.
88.
0.7.
0.7, exactly. Let's start with the big loser this week, AEW. Usually I throw it to one of you guys, but I have a strong opinion this week. They debuted Jeff Cobb and Wardlow. Wardlow has been on their TV for months now. They've been promoting him as a monster. They've been building him up. And then what do? Instead of making a star out of him, they job him out. The other part of that, Jeff Cobb makes his debut, who we've only seen once on only a video package of him, essentially.
And they job him out.
And they jobbed him out. Exactly.
I actually watched the match, the Moxley Cobb match. And
yeah, I did too.
I gotta say, I was kind of disappointed. Like it was
a match.
Yeah, you don't debut a guy who's supposed to be this monster on the indies, and you don't put him up against the guy who's competing in the main event on your pay-per-view. Like that, it's the same mistake the WWE made when they had the Big Show wrestling Steve Austin mere weeks after he debuted on Monday Night Raw, and he jobbed clean.
Right.
It did nothing to help Cobb. It didn't seal Cobb as a monster member of the Inner Circle, because that's technically supposed to be Jake Hager.
And we've yet to see Jake Hager in the ring yet, so that's still a possibility.
But they got 2 weeks. Well, they got a week, so it has to be Jake Hager this week. Shit.
I mean, they're having a freaking pay-per-view on a freaking leap year, so.
Hey, that's my birthday. Don't diss the leap year. You can diss the wrestling. Don't diss my birthday.
Oh, they're on the 28th.
No, I'm a leap year, baby. 29th. 29th. Saturday.
Oh, that's interesting. But Jeff Cobb has, I can make the excuse for Jeff Cobb that he's still pretty green, he's still inexperienced. He's not ready to be in there with a guy like Jon Moxley, and look good. But Wardlow, essentially in that match, he looked pretty good. Do you agree, disagree? What are your thoughts on that?
I did not watch the steel cage match.
Okay.
I mean, it was hard to watch it because they had a commercial, and by the time I came back, somebody got busted open. I'm like, what the fuck happened? So, so to me, that was one thing. If you're gonna it's funny they do that little picture for the commercial break. Of all times that you would want to do it, would be your fucking main event. That did not happen. Wardlow, I could see why he lost, because to me, I think in the end, he's just a pawn that's going to be a player in getting MJF to win at Revolution, because to me, Cody then had 3 hella weeks where he ended up either looking or.
And I agree
Excuse me.
there, but you know, just tell me if I'm wrong here. Could the Jeff
You're wrong here.
Cobb and John Moxley match benefited from a disqualification end?
That's
Yeah,
a
because
tough.
you lost.
Yeah, I'd probably say.
But if that's the case, then the Wardlow. So if that's the case, the Wardlow Cody match would have benefited if the winner left the cage.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like,
Which they.
I mean, I get them trying to like
because
evoke the old WCW style cage matches where the point wasn't to escape, but they didn't have a roof on it, so it didn't make any
what's
sense.
the point of a cage match with no roof?
It just seems like matches in AEW never end by disqualification or count out. And I think that's a really that's a big handicap that they're working with.
Well, I mean,
The Bros and Kenny shitting on the refs because they were like, "Oh yeah, it's supposed to be a 10 break or a 10 count." Bro, they out there like beating each other's asses for like 2 minutes, and the refs just chilling like, "Oh, fuck it." That was more like shocking to me.
What was you saying, Scooter?
Yeah, it is supposed to be like a 20 count.
No, there are 10 count on AEW.
No, I remember they said a 10 count. They said 10 count.
Oh no! I'm sorry. No,
Because
I'm sorry. That's a 10 count for tag teams.
Yeah.
Either
yeah,
way,
when the tag teams do the double moves.
Either way, AEW, they had 2 guys that could essentially have been stars. They could have made 2 stars on AEW this week, and I think they just shit the bed this week. That being said, which was your favorite match on AEW this week?
They shit the bed. That being said,
I like that phrase. That being said, what happened?
Scooter?
Oh God. Well, I don't know if either show had a favorite match. I mean, Roderick Strong Velveteen Dream was so friggin' sloppy. It was cringeworthy.
I agree with you there. Both shows this week, in my opinion, got F minuses. They were both really bad.
Yeah, but I could see the difference that I can say, and this is what I was telling people, like I always argue with people, I don't know why, but but for better or for worse, I always say this, for better or for worse, whether it's a good show or a bad show, NXT constantly is consistent. They're consistently trying to move within the parameters of a storyline. Whether the decisions were good or whether the decisions were bad, they're trying to be like they're showing continuity with the storyline to make it build. To me, AEW is fucking helter skelter sometimes, and that's where my issue is, because it's like they do shit where they say it should matter, then it don't matter, and the refs get shit on, and then they're like, okay, I'm thinking Moxley's going through the inner circle. Okay, he's going to go through a couple members. And all of a sudden, this motherfucker comes out the blue. I mean, that would have been a good pay-per-view if Cobb came at Revolution. To me, because that makes people, because they're giving away the farm for free. They're basically killing themselves every week trying to make it so entertaining. To me, when it gets to the pay-per-view, I'm like, what the fuck are you going to do to top all the shit that you've been doing the last couple of weeks?
Right.
You can only get impressed by so many 450s. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's where it's like the move aspect, yeah, it's good. Don't get me wrong. But from the story aspect, it's not there yet.
So we could all agree that NXT and AEW were both the big losers this week on in the Wednesday Night Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they lost to the singing robot from Masked Singer. And I know that's like the first episode when Lil Wayne was there, but as long as the Masked Singer's there, man, that's like a cultural phenomenon right now.
That will conclude our coverage of NXT and AEW, the Wednesday Night Wars. And now we are wrestling with AEW Revolution preview. I got there. It takes place on the 29th of February, and your main event is Chris Jericho versus Jon Moxley. Who wins the match, Scooter?
I mean, hopefully they actually pull a title change and Mox goes over. But I don't feel like. I think they're gonna stretch it out. I don't think it's gonna be where Moxley has gone through every member of the inner circle, but Jericho can lord over him the fact that he didn't beat him and that he's never beaten him in AEW.
I was just gonna say in AEW. What say you, Coleco?
I was just about to say, aren't we all losers? Because the same people that were shitting on AEW, Chris Jericho versus Moxley in WWE are now all of a sudden super stoked for this fucking match. Go figure how that works. We are all hypocrites for that. With that being said, they shit the bed. They shit the bed. With that being said, they shit the bed and Jericho wins because he's the only mainstream star that they have that is like. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dean Ambrose. I mean, Mox is a star, but the name change, no one's gonna know. I mean, everybody's gonna be like, "Who the fuck is that?" Like, oh, why is Dean Ambrose there? Chris Jericho's the only person who can fucking be household name ish at this point. So it's Chris Jericho and a bunch of people that wrestling fans know, but not casual fans, and that's where the disconnect will be.
I agree. That's why I'm going with Chris Jericho as well. AEW Tag Team Championship match: Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus the Young Bucks. Scooter?
I want to say that it's gonna be the Bucks. For some reason, I feel like they're gonna.
You feel that they're going to?
I feel like they're gonna keep the things on.
On Omega.
On Omega and Hangman.
Yeah. I kind of had the same feeling. I think they want to drag this out a little bit longer, right?
Yeah.
I think they're dragging out the fact that Omega has to choose between his best friends or being a champion, and I think that's the distinction that they're drawing. I think that he's the guy in the middle. It's going to be interesting to see what decisions he makes. To me, I think I agree with you guys. I think Hangman and Kenny are going to win. I think it's going to either be that or a no contest because I can't see.
That's not happening.
This. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? I can't see like a definitive winner in this because everything's been pointing towards Hangman like telling them to fuck off, and Kenny's like, "No, I can't leave them alone because they're my fucking friends." So it's that typical relationship where your girl goes, "It's between me and your boys," and and that boy better choose wisely. That's all I'm gonna say.
Cody versus MJF. Who wins, Scooter?
Cody by a mile.
Coleco?
MJF, because all this hell he went through, and fucking MJF had like at least 2-3 weeks of rest, and he got fucked up.
I don't know who's gonna win, but Cody's probably going to bleed. I bet good money on that.
Oh yeah, that's gonna happen.
Oh yeah. Dustin Rhodes versus Jake Hager. Scooter?
I'm gonna go with Hager simply because it's his it's really his
Debut.
yeah.
I mean, they've been building this match since what? November?
Forever.
Yeah. So
Forever.
they've been. If it's anything less than a squash match in Hager's favor, I'd be disappointed, honestly.
Yeah, Hager has to win, right? Like they can't pull a Jeff Cobb twice, or could they?
Three
You
times.
never know with these.
3 times.
3 times. 3 times. 3 times. 3 times.
Don't forget our friend Warlow.
Good point. But yeah, I mean, it would have to be Hager, right? Because Dustin's not. I mean, what does Dustin gain from it?
Right.
So, I mean,
This is
that's
a
my thought on it.
dark horse match. Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara.
It's not a dark. It's gonna be Darby. The pop that he got coming back. I mean, I will say that like they did a good job of establishing Darby, but they got a ways to go. I mean, to make him a household name.
What say you, Scooter?
Yeah, I'm going with Darby.
My man.
Honestly, I can tell you either way. I could say that they go the way of Sammy Guevara to give him that first paid preview win, or they could give Darby Allin the revenge he's been seeking, um, and just kind of kill the rivalry now.
I mean, they're making Allen out to be, I mean, with the return they gave him on Dynamite. They're turning him into, they're trying to do something with him and putting him, having him go over the the lapdog of the Inner Circle is the right way to go.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Especially considering that Sammy was the one who kind of took him out in the first place. So.
And we will have all those results plus more in 2 weeks, because that AEW Revolution is on a Saturday. Obviously, we will not be watching it before we do the show, so in 2 weeks. But next week we will be reviewing what we'll be previewing right now, and we are wrestling with WWE Super Showdown. Another Saudi Arabia clusterfuck, and your first match out is Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy versus the Street Profits for the Raw Tag Team Championships. What say you, Scooter?
Yeah, that's gonna be Murphy and Rollins. I mean, give Murphy his first name back, damn it.
Buddy?
Yeah, alright, I see your point. But yeah, the Street Profits were placed into this like at the last minute. It seems, uh, like just because it appears that Joe and Owens won't be at the show, so this is your typical tag team title
Put it up
defense.
there, baby. You can do it on the table.
What'd you say, Coleco?
I'm gonna say the upset because I see Seth going against Kevin Owens at Mania, and if they're not gonna do anything with the titles in between that, I think it could be an upset. Kevin Owens costs them the titles, and that's what starts the build.
I gotta agree with Scooter on this one. I don't see the Bucks using Seth Rollins and Morpheus possessing it as of right
I feel y'all. I can't say I'm not thinking outside the box.
Next match. The New Day versus The Miz and John Morrison for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Scooter?
Ugh. Quite honestly, I never thought I'd care less about a match involving three of these men, and I am so uninvested in this tag title match that I honestly don't care. They have
He said, "Fuck it all."
they have screwed up Morrison's return by continuing to keep him with the Miz. What they should have done is have him team, fake being with the Miz, and then have Morrison turn on him. And then you get your face Miz back. You get Morrison to be the heel we know to be an Impact.
Can you hear me?
Yes. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can hear you. Can you not hear yourself?
Holla, if you hear me. I think we may have
Hello?
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 There we go. Bloody Bluetooth. I'm going New Day. Just because Kofi's one of their bigger stars that they push on the posters. So it would make sense.
I'm going home.
Touche, sir. Touche.
I'm going with the Miz and Morrison. So we got one New Day, we got one Miz and Morrison, and we have one I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and by the way, we can now confirm that it will now be in the first women's championship match ever in Saudi Arabia. Bayley will be defending against Naomi.
What say you,
Bayley's going against who?
Naomi.
Oh shit! There goes my WrestleMania fucking back. Hey, fuck! Leave it to fuck me over on my prediction.
Who wins the match, Coleco?
No contest. I think as soon as they take their hair down, it's a wrap. Like, fuck this.
Get the fuck out.
I mean, other than that, if that happens, they're going to be stoned to death.
You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, Naomi can't pop out with that fro over there, boy. She better listen to her inner instincts, man. Try to get home, better get that plane ride home, fam.
Loser has to drive home.
Oh shit, she ain't driving her ass. Get her ass on that plane, fam. Make the plane. That's her job. Make the plane.
What about you, Scooter? Who wins the match?
She's actually gonna try and build a plane.
Oh my god.
I wouldn't be surprised if they, just to make history, they had Naomi do it. Although you do have to consider the fact that Saudi Arabia has a little bit of a beef with Naomi.
Oh, that
If you remember going back to the first Saudi Arabia event, they had a promo play that featured Naomi quite a bit, and a lot of the Saudi Arabian guys and
Oligarchs.
were offended.
Really?
I
And
believe that was
WWE had to issue a
Carmella, not
statement.
Naomi.
No, that was Naomi.
Really? That was Naomi.
I remember it being Carmella.
It had it was the feel the glow thing.
Okay.
It was right at the end of the show, and so I don't know if this is to maybe get Naomi, back in the good graces of them. But there's gonna be a definite finish. It's gonna be clean. They're not gonna do it's any sort of no contest. But I wouldn't be surprised if for history they just put it on Naomi. Because you have Elimination Chamber on the 8th, so
Oh yeah, that's right. Please tell me that they don't have a fast lane this year.
no fast lane, but they've announced the women's Elimination Chamber match, so
But that's Raw.
and that's Raw, but they're not going to have a second women's Elimination Chamber match.
But I'll take that because at least, and the only thing I can say about the Saudi Arabia shit is I'm glad that they got that shit over because that's what screwed San Diego getting WWE fucking payback, and I'm still pissed about that one. So yeah, so fuck that, fuck that.
Come on, Coleco. You did not want to see Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin again. They saved you, and you know it. They saved your ass.
Bro, you know how long it's been since a pay-per-view hit the streets?
I know. It's been a long time.
Too fucking long. That's
Alright, next match, Roman Reigns versus Baron King Corbin in a steel cage match. I mean,
bro,
how many times are they gonna have this fucking match?
It's Wile E. Coyote versus goddamn Roadrunner. As long as motherfuckers think they can care.
Motherfucker.
Exactly. That's my point. Like, shit. They'll add that shit as long as they can.
Roman
At
doesn't
least
have great luck at in cage matches in Saudi Arabia, so
That is true. So, Coleco, who wins the match?
Corbin, because they got to kind of keep his ass going. You know what's funny? They took that dude, and he was hella over at the King of the Ring, got the King Corbin. Everybody was cool with it. Everybody was cool with him being a heel. And then he stuck with Roman Reigns for 8 months, and now everybody like, bro, you stale as fuck. And I'm like, how the fuck is he stale as fuck when he was pretty dope as fuck just a couple months ago?
he was always stale.
Yeah.
Hey,
Like bread pudding.
Hey. He wasn't that stale. Motherfuckers was cheering his ass when he won King of the Ring.
He was stale like moldy toast.
There you go.
This is moldy toast stale.
What say you, Scooter?
I wouldn't be surprised if Reigns actually wins, but it turns out they award the match to Corbin.
That might actually happen. That being said,
Like a repeat of Lesnar.
Or
Right.
he's going to be handcuffed and kept out.
I can see it.
going with Roman. Why change the formula, right? Next match. Gauntlet match for the Kuwaiti Trophy Cup.
No, not the Kuwait. It's the Tuwake.
To wait. All right.
T-
So who wins the
it-
match, Scooter?
Probably it's either AJ or Andrade.
What about you, Coleco?
Why should I come out with like Minotaur and he wins that shit?
You mean Mantor?
Minotaur.
Mantor's dead.
Oh, they could wrestle.
No, what's the? He might come out. The dude that won the Battle Royal the last time.
Hey,
Mansoor. He was on the NXT.
There you go.
He was on the NXT Takeover pre-show.
See, there you go. Mansoor. There you go.
Gorilla
You know what the hell I was talking about.
Mansoor.
Mansoor.
I don't think I'm on this card, but you gotta believe that Saudi Arabia's biggest star isn't gonna make an appearance, right?
It's Gorilla Mansoor and Bobby the Brain Hanan.
Yeah.
Will you stop it, Hanan?
You have a nigger.
You need to stop it, Hanan.
That is 2 for $1.
Unstoppable force meets movable object. Yes.
All right.
Yes,
Bray Wyatt, The Fiend versus Goldberg.
You have reached Dell Tech Support.
Welcome to T-Mobile. I am in Alabama, sir.
My name is Joe Smith. No, Goldberg, Bray Wyatt. Very interesting. By the way, I apologize to everybody for speaking this into existence.
Yes.
I spoke it into existence 3 weeks ago when Goldberg actually made his appearance. Like, I was talking about what were they gonna do with Goldberg, and then like at the last minute I'm like, oh god, they're gonna do Goldberg Bray Wyatt, aren't they? And then it happened.
You bastard.
However, last night on SmackDown, they did something really interesting with Goldberg and Bray Wyatt. So they took the best possible route where Bray Wyatt tried to play mind games. The lights went out in the arena. They came back up. Goldberg was still looking at the screen. Camera was still focused on Goldberg. And he goes, "The Fiend! And you're right behind me." He turns around. There he is. Goldberg spears him. And actually, Bray actually looks like he's down. He looks at Goldberg. Goldberg looks like he's going to deliver another one. Lights go out. Fiend's gone. And they did the minute they delivered the most effect with doing the minimum amount of work. And
that goes without saying when Goldberg's involved, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't see Goldberg falling to the mandible claw. And honestly, I don't see him falling to the Sister Abigail either. I can't see it.
So you're saying that Goldberg is going to win this match?
I'm saying Goldberg's going to win.
Okay then. That's a bold prediction by Scooter Dust. What say you, Coleco?
I've been flip-flopping on that too because it's like you don't put Goldberg in there just to take the L, right? Like that's my mind. My mind is like, because I'm looking at it from a business sense. What would make more sense in WrestleMania? The Fiend versus Roman or Spear versus Spear?
Yeah, I mean, because the match I've heard for WrestleMania is Roman and Goldberg.
And that's what I'm thinking too.
I've also heard that it's gonna be Hulk Hogan and Bray Wyatt.
Both matches sound like garbage to me.
The only way that could happen is if Hulk Hogan costs Fiend the title.
Well, considering they had an interaction last week on SmackDown, but then I'm hearing John Cena and Elias, but then I'm also hearing John Cena and Goldberg or John Cena and Bray Wyatt for that 17th title reign.
Yeah, so it's a lot of shuffling to do before this. I don't think that they bring Goldberg for a one-off though.
I mean, they did it last time. They did it at WrestleMania 32.
They did like the last 3 times.
No. Like a one-off is in like a one-off match. Like he doesn't like the one thing that I noticed. He doesn't come back for just one match. He comes for like a series.
SummerSlam, Goldberg Ziggler.
Goldberg,
Yeah, but that was right after.
Takeover.
That was right before Goldberg Taker. Remember? So you see what I'm saying? Like there's a pattern there.
Goldberg Taker happened like a month and a half after that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He usually comes back for more than one match. That's what I'm saying. Like he doesn't come back, do one match, and then disappears. He usually comes back and do like one match, maybe two matches at most, and then he'll pop off. So that's where I'm kind of like, my mind is saying Goldberg is gonna get this win because it kind of takes the pressure off the main roster to try to beat him. Kind of like how when Brock beat Taker, it took the pressure off the roster having to deal with that WrestleMania streak every year. I could see that happening. I could.
You're going.
I could.
Going with Goldberg?
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna lean Goldberg just because I think Hogan's gonna have something to do with it, because remember, he's going in the Hall of Fame this year. So they usually like try to get someone who's active on the roster in a match.
Yeah, well, as of last night, the Bella Twins are going in. So,
yay! Somewhere Jazz is pissed. Yeah, so I would say, yeah, I think Goldberg. I'm gonna take a toss up. I've been unpredictable all night anyway, so might as well go Goldberg.
Going with the Fiend. Last match, Brock Lesnar versus Ricochet for the WWE Championship. Scooter?
If there's going to be a count out or disqualification, this is going to be it.
I disagree with that. I see clean victory in the middle for Brock.
I see Drew McIntyre causing Lesnar to lose by a count out.
Interesting. What say you, Coleco?
My favorite vegetable, squash.
Yes, we're back. And it's a fruit, damn it.
I'm going to fight that it's a vegetable to the end. Squash.
You fruitcake.
Because I've never seen a squash. I've never seen a squash or fruitcake.
Squash is not a vegetable, sir.
Squash is vegetable because squash is a salad. It is not a fruitcake.
You are a squash.
Okay, I don't think we're going to...
Hey, the only thing I squash is squash a penny, sir.
I don't think we're going to get much better than that. That will conclude our coverage of WWE Super Showdown. Will you be covering that on the remix, Scooter?
Hopefully, if I'm up in time. If I'm up at the crack of noon.
Crack of noon. If you like
shit.
If you like the show, please like, subscribe, comment. If you want to join in the conversation, want to agree with any of us, want to debate our thoughts on the show, you can follow us on Twitter. You can find me at JamesJ993. Where can they find Coleco?
I'm Coleco. At me. At me about these matches. I dare you. I triple dare you, motherfucker. I dare.
Ask him about Darby Allin. That'll get him riled up.
Yeah. Talk about Darby Allin and how he's a mainstream star. I'll get in your ass, boy.
And where can they find Scooter Dust?
They can find this Master Debater at Scooter Dust and at UNBS Wrestling.
Ooh, I thought you said masturbator. Ooh, that just got.
Master Debater.
Oh, God. I'm sorry, man. Hennessy and Hypnotic has been all in my system right now.
For Coleco Yachts, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with... Entertainment.
Thank you very much for this time, sir.